Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Goaltending, where your why is bigger than your excuses. I'm excited to be with you all today. Thank you for tuning in and allowing me to be a part of your journey. Today's episode is pretty interesting. So I initially planned a specific topic for today. I planned to record this morning, and then a wrench was thrown into my plans. And so I didn't record this morning. And I've actually decided to go with a completely different topic related to what happened this morning that changed my plans. Because ultimately, for me, I do this to try to bring authenticity, to try to bring something that is real for you to be able to relate to and to find things that you can apply to your journey. And what's more real than something that's going on right now in my life? So basically, this morning, I had planned to plan the episode out. I planned to record, and my son had a full meltdown as it was getting close to time to record. So he likes to play with games. So he has a card game out, and he starts spreading the cards out and throwing them out all over the floor. And that's perfectly fine. Like, if that's how he wants to play with it, we just tell him, if you make a mess, you're responsible for cleaning it up. And so as he's making this giant mess, I remind him, hey, perfectly okay. But just remember, when you're done, you have to clean that up. And so he continues to make his mess, to throw his cards. He's having a great time. But then he wants a new game. And so we tell him, you don't get a new game until you clean up your mess. And then he has a full meltdown. So he goes to timeout, and he's screaming at the top of his lungs. And we talk to him and we say, hey, when you're ready to calm down and talk about what's going on, and then come apologize for your behavior and help clean up, then you can come out of timeout when you're ready to do that. So after a little bit, he calms down and says that he's ready to, but then we say, okay, are you ready to clean up? He throws a fit again. So he goes back to timeout. And ultimately, it took close to half an hour, maybe a little more, of unplanned part of our morning, but it was necessary. For me, family is a number one priority. So even though I had something to do at that time, it was a teaching moment. It was an opportunity to instill discipline, to communicate, and to teach a valuable lesson to my son. And so I had to, put the podcast to the side. But that's what today's episode is about, is showing up. I'm still here. Now, I did have to adjust my plan. So after a little bit of time, he finally calmed down. He apologizes. He helps clean his mess up. And it took the time, and it was more important for me to be there than to be doing the podcast. But this is also important to me. So I want to be able to help people. I want to be able to lift others up. And what better way to do that than to share lessons from my life, and to bring in great guests that can share those lessons. And so today reminded me of the importance of showing up. And I just wanted to share that with you. You have to show up in your life. Things are going to happen that you didn't plan for. So my plan was to record an episode this morning that I already had the details together for. And then that happened. And then that took the time away that I was, planning to have for recording. But what I did is I adjusted. First off, I was continuing to think about it. So it impacted my mentality. I wasn't ready to record right after it happened anyway, because I was focused and thinking about that event and what was going on. But it was an important moment. And I said, this is what I need to talk about, because I know that you have things like that happen in your life. If you have kids, I know you understand the meltdowns that kids can have and the things that can happen with kids that can throw your plans completely off. But that doesn't mean that you have to put what's important to you to the side. You just have to be adaptable and flexible, and you have to figure it out on the fly. You have to adjust your plan. And so I relate it to like sports teams. So every good sports team comes into a game with a plan. And then when the game starts, the other team has a plan. And they have to be able to adapt. If you just stick to one game plan for the whole game against a team with a different game plan who's trying to stop you, if they are successful in stopping you and you don't adjust, you lose the game. And in this situation, the game is life. So you have to be able to adapt. It's great to have a plan. I'm all about planning. I want you to put things in place to help you achieve your goals and to live a fulfilled life. But you also have to understand that challenges are going to pop up. Obstacles are going to get in your way. And you can allow those things to stop you. You can allow those things to hold you back from achieving what you wanted to achieve, or you can adjust. You can be adaptable. You can be flexible. You can handle that ambiguity and how you respond to it. And you can still get to what you want to accomplish. So I want to challenge you to show up. Like, don't make the excuses that are easy to make. Show up for yourself. The thing is our minds naturally gravitate toward the path of least resistance. It's natural. It's just part of the way that our brains work. And it's not meant to be a bad thing. The reason that our minds gravitate toward the path of least resistance is to try to promote efficiency. So part of it is about like conserving energy for your mind. Like, why would I spend more mental capacity on a problem than I have to when I can conserve that energy for other things? So your mind naturally gravitates toward the path of least resistance. But then what that lends itself to is that instant gratification. So that leads to, even though it's more efficient, you're going for the thing that's more comfortable in the moment, that's easier right now. And that is often not aligned with what your long-term goals are. It's often not aligned with where you want to get to. And so that creates a conflict. And the way to overcome that is to work on skills that promote self-awareness. You have to become aware of your mind doing that. So I recognize, okay, like, yes, I could do this. This would be easier right now. But is that what's best for me? Is that actually what's best for where I'm trying to get to? And if it's not, then I need to come up with a different plan. I need to take something on a little more challenging than what is comfortable, so that I'm still working toward that long-term goal, so that I still show up. That's what I want you to do, is show up regardless of what's going on, because life's going to throw the wrenches. If you have kids, they are going to change your plans. If you have a stressful or difficult job, like, things change at work. If you have a fitness and nutrition plan, like, things happen that come up that can throw you off from being able to get your workout when you planned, being able to have your meals when you plan to have your meals. There's all kinds of things that can impact what you are working toward, but you still have to show up. Don't allow it to be an excuse. Don't go for the instant gratification. Make yourself a little uncomfortable if you have to. Do what's a little bit harder, but that is aligned with where you want to be, that's aligned with what you want to accomplish, and that helps you reach that long-term goal. And another thing is habits. Like, part of it too, yes, our mind goes to that path of least resistance. And part of that is also tied to habits that we have. So what do we naturally already do? Like, what is our normal routine right now? If I'm used to hitting snooze on my alarm, that's a habit that I have in place. So when my alarm goes off, I'm going to hit the snooze button. But if you realize that you have some kind of habit that's not serving you, some kind of habit that's going toward that instant gratification instead of, putting you in a little bit more uncomfortable situation for the long-term payoff, you have to be able to adjust. So the thing is, with habits, once you become aware of habits that are not serving you, you can start to make some micro changes. You can start to make adjustments to those habits and things that you do that are, providing that immediate gratification, but are not serving you in the long term. Once you identify those habits that are in place, you can start to make some changes. And it takes time to adjust your habits because it's something that you're used to. It doesn't feel comfortable. Now, you have those things that you just naturally do. But by building self-awareness, by thinking about it and becoming aware of them, and then starting to make some micro changes, you will gradually adjust those habits that are not serving you, those things that are going for that delayed gratification. So I want to point that out. And I just want to tell you, like, show up. Don't let the things that pop up in life get in your way. If there's something that you want to achieve, if there's something that you want to accomplish, and here's the thing, our kids can be those challenges that, like, sometimes throw a wrench in our plans. but also they are a big part of our why. They're what we're working toward. They're why we want to be successful. They're why we're working so hard. So I want to remind you that even though something can be a challenge, it can also be a part of your why. And you have to be able to identify it, and you have to show up anyway. I still showed up. I had to change the game plan, but I still showed up. And if I can do it, so can you. There are times that I have not shown up. There's times that I allowed whatever the obstacle was or whatever the challenge was for the day hold me back from doing what I knew I needed to do. I went for that instant gratification. And I know that if I've done it, I know that you've done it too. And it's okay. You do have to be able to give yourself some grace, but learn from it. I've had those times and I've learned from those times. And today was not one. I showed up today. I want you to show up too. So if you showed up today, regardless of the challenges in your way, I want you to drop a comment. I want you to tell me, hey, I showed up. And if it's not today, if you remember this and you fight through something and you show up for yourself anyway, I want you to send me a message. Tell me I showed up. And I'll know what that means. Show up for yourself. I want to thank you all for tuning in, allowing me to be a part of your journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share it. Comment with your thoughts and questions too. Comment telling me that you showed up to join the conversation, and let's grow together. Hey team, I just wanted to talk to you all about the importance of visual reminders. When you're working toward a goal, it's important to have things around you that you see regularly that remind you of the goal you're working toward. And because of that, I have some new apparel out, t-shirts and sweatshirts that remind you are in your goal-getting era. I want you to check that out. Grab yourself a shirt or a sweatshirt, something that you can wear that can be a daily reminder to you that you are in your goal-getting era, that you are working toward goals, and that you are ready to show up. Go grab yours, and thank you all for allowing me to be a part of your journey.